When you find yourself in Portugal, it becomes essential to fully immerse yourself in the local customs and etiquette. By doing so, you will truly have the opportunity to embrace the country's rich culture and traditions. With every encounter, warm greetings are exchanged, creating an atmosphere of genuine hospitality. The appreciation for leisurely meals shared with loved ones adds to the charm that Portugal has to offer. Just like with any destination, it's important to keep a few things in mind to make sure your experience is respectful and enjoyable. Let's explore 12 crucial mistakes to avoid in Portugal, providing you with a comprehensive understanding of Portuguese social norms and customs. 1. Acknowledge greetings. In Portugal, greetings hold significance, and it is customary to greet individuals regardless of your familiarity with them. Upon entering a shop, restaurant, or any other establishment, it is customary to greet the staff with a pleasant bom dia, good morning, boa tarde, good afternoon, or boa noite, good evening, depending on the current time of day. These greetings go beyond mere pleasantries, serving as a meaningful gesture of acknowledgement and respect towards the person you are addressing. Not acknowledging greetings or neglecting to return them can be perceived as impolite or dismissive. In Portugal, it is customary to greet someone using formal titles like Senhor, Mr., Senhora, Mrs., or Señorita, Miss, followed by their last name, unless you have a familiar relationship with them. In Portugal, it is crucial to recognize and respond to greetings as a way to promote positive interactions and show respect to others. 2. Avoid being too loud or disruptive. It is important to maintain a calm and respectful demeanor in public spaces, as Portuguese people highly value tranquility. Being loud or disruptive may be seen as disrespectful. It is important to maintain a moderate volume when speaking, particularly in places such as restaurants, public transportation, or residential areas. In Portuguese society, there is a strong emphasis on politeness, creating a tranquil atmosphere and fostering a sense of community. When one is excessively loud or disruptive in public spaces, it can be seen as disrespectful to those nearby and may disturb the serene atmosphere that many Portuguese individuals value. Portugal is renowned for its tight-knit communities and genuine concern for the well-being of others. Consideration for others can be shown by being mindful of your volume level, especially when others are trying to enjoy a quiet moment or conversation nearby. Behaving loudly or disruptively is often viewed as impolite or inconsiderate, particularly in places like restaurants, public transportation, or residential areas. Being aware of your environment and adapting your actions accordingly is crucial. 3. Pay attention to meal times. In Portugal, meal times are usually followed quite strictly. During the day, people often take a break for lunch, which typically falls between 12:30 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. In the evening, dinner is commonly enjoyed between 7:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. Timing is everything when it comes to dining out. Showing up too early or too late at a restaurant can lead to a limited selection of dishes or cause some inconvenience. In Portugal, meals have a special meaning, bringing people together to savor each other's company and celebrate their shared culture. Meals like lunch and dinner have this magical ability to bring people together, creating a sense of community as they engage in lively conversation and form deeper connections while savoring delicious food. In Portugal, meal times at many restaurants are strictly observed, especially for lunch and dinner. During the midday hours, lunch is usually served, with a time window spanning from 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. As for dinner, it is customary for the evening meal to commence around 7:30 p.m. or 8 p.m. Not adhering to these designated meal times could potentially restrict your choices when it comes to eating out, as certain establishments may close during the gaps between meal services. 4. Avoid dressing too casually in certain settings. It's worth noting that in certain settings, it's advisable to avoid dressing too casually. Although Portugal tends to have a relaxed approach to the dress code, it's always important to consider dressing appropriately for a specific occasion. When attending formal settings like upscale restaurants or cultural events, it is advisable to steer clear of overly casual attire, such as shorts, flip-flops, or beachwear. Proper attire is a way to demonstrate your consideration for the location and those in your vicinity. When attending formal settings like upscale restaurants, cultural events, or religious sites, it is important to consider the appropriateness of one's attire. Wearing overly casual clothing in these contexts can be perceived as disrespectful or inappropriate. In formal or professional settings, Portuguese society places great importance on maintaining a sense of decorum and sophistication. When one dresses neatly and tastefully, it reflects an understanding and appreciation for the cultural norms of the local community. 5. Don't expect fast-paced service. Service in Portugal has a more relaxed pace compared to some other countries, particularly in restaurants. So don't expect things to be fast-paced. One often finds pleasure in savoring meals and cherishing the presence of loved ones. It is considered impolite to rush through a meal or have high expectations for quick service. In Portuguese culture, there is a deep appreciation for savoring experiences and fully embracing the present moment. In various establishments, the focus is often on delivering quality service rather than prioritizing speed. This creates a relaxed approach that allows for a more enjoyable experience. Visitors should expect a relaxed and unhurried pace of service, especially when dining at restaurants. In Portugal, meals are seen as social events meant to be savored at a relaxed tempo. It's a typical sight to see diners savoring their meals, engrossed in lively conversation, and immersing themselves in the atmosphere of their surroundings. Due to cultural differences, service in restaurants may be slower in certain countries compared to others. 6. Avoid disrespecting local customs and traditions. Portugal has a diverse and vibrant cultural heritage, and it is important to show respect for its local customs and traditions. Immerse yourself in the rich tapestry of local culture by delving into the captivating world of fado music or partaking in vibrant religious festivals. Instead of merely viewing them as tourist attractions, take the time to appreciate and respect these cherished customs. 7. Don't mistake Portuguese and Spanish cultures. Portuguese and Spanish cultures may have some similarities, but it's important to remember that they are also quite distinct from each other. Portuguese culture should not be equated with Spanish culture. It is advisable to avoid speaking Spanish unless necessary, as Portuguese individuals may have a strong sense of pride in their language and culture. 8. Avoid overt displays of wealth. When visiting Portugal, it's wise to refrain from flaunting your wealth. This means avoiding flashy jewelry or expensive gadgets, particularly in busy tourist spots where pickpocketing is a possibility. While Portugal is generally a safe destination for tourists, it's always better to err on the side of caution. 9. Don't forget to tip appropriately. Remember to tip appropriately when in Portugal. Tipping is appreciated but optional. When dining out, it is customary to express your satisfaction with the service by leaving a tip of approximately 5 to 10% of the total bill. On the other hand, being overtly generous with tips might come across as peculiar or unnecessary. 10. Avoid discussing sensitive topics. In Portugal, it is important to be mindful of certain topics that may be considered sensitive or inappropriate for discussion, just like in many other cultures. It's best to steer clear of sensitive subjects like politics, religion, or personal finances when in the company of close friends or acquaintances, unless they are open to discussing such matters. 11. Don't expect everyone to speak English. Keep in mind that not everyone in Portugal may be fluent in English, although it is commonly spoken in tourist areas and by younger generations. When interacting with locals who may need to improve in English, it's always considerate to familiarize yourself with a few essential Portuguese phrases and maintain a patient attitude. 12. Avoid disrespecting historic sites and monuments. Show reverence for Portugal's rich historical sites and monuments, which hold great significance for the local community. It is important to approach these sites with a sense of respect, adhering to any rules or guidelines that may be posted. Additionally, it is crucial to refrain from engaging in behaviors such as littering or defacing property. Ultimately, immersing yourself in Portugal's cultural intricacies enriches your journey and cultivates genuine bonds with the people you encounter. When you greet others, take your time to appreciate the relaxed rhythm of life and honor the traditions of the locals. This way, you'll fully experience the genuine warmth and hospitality that characterizes Portuguese culture. By keeping these 12 points in mind, you can make the most of your time in Portugal and truly immerse yourself in its captivating culture and history.